everybody and welcome to Jeff's Baking Blog. Today I'm making alfajores. These are a South American biscuit or cookie, and it's actually a sandwich cookie. So two shortbread type biscuits filled with dulce de leche, which is a thick caramel sauce basically. Very, very delicious, and sometimes, not always, but sometimes the edges are then rolled in a little bit of desiccated coconut. So that's what I'm going to do, but it doesn't happen all the time. That's optional basically. So it's actually quite a simple recipe and it doesn't take too long. I'll go straight on to the ingredients. And for this I have 75 grams, which is half a cup based on scooping packed flour into a 250 milliliter cup of plain flour. I have 120 grams, which is 1 cup of corn flour or cornstarch. I have 88 grams, which is half a cup minus a tablespoon of caster sugar. I have the yolks from 2 medium eggs, which would be large in the USA. 113 grams, 1 stick of unsalted butter, which is at room temperature, slightly softened basically. I have the zest from a lemon, 2 grams, half a teaspoon of baking powder and a pinch of salt. And then here I just have some desiccated coconut, which I'm going to roll the biscuits in. So the first thing we have to do is to make the biscuit dough, and for that I'm going to cream together the butter and the sugar, and then the eggs can get added in as well. And I'm going to do this with my hand mixer, but you could do it all by hand if you wanted to, or with a stand mixer. So I'll cream the sugar into the butter until it's well mixed and nice and fluffy. So that's nice and fluffy. So I'm going to add in my egg yolks, and at the same time I'll put the lemon zest in just to get that mixed in as well. And I'll whisk these until it's fully combined. So that's mixed quite nicely now, and I forgot to mention, of course, as I'm prone to do, that I also have my dulce de leche or caramel sauce. This is actually a tin of caramel that you can buy. You can buy tins of dulce de leche or caramel. You could even, if you wanted to, take a tin, 397 gram tin of condensed milk, and put it in a pot of water, completely covered in the water, bring it to the boil and then simmer it covered for 2 hours, and it will turn into this caramel basically. But then you'd have to let it cool down completely before you opened the tin and took the caramel out. So I've mixed the eggs and the zest in, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put my flour and corn flour and the baking powder and the salt into a larger bowl, and I'm going to give those a stir around. and that's basically just to get them mixed into each other a little bit. And then I'm going to add them into the wet mixture and mix that until it's just clumping into a dough. Now I'm going to sift it, but you don't need to sift it, I don't think. It's just that I want to make sure that it's mixed fairly evenly through with the various ingredients. So I'll just sift this onto the wet mixture. And that's good like that. So then I'm going to simply mix this on a low speed until it's all combined and clumping together. As you can see, that's forming clumps now. So I'm going to tip that out onto a work surface, and then I'm going to basically squeeze it together into a dough, and it comes together very easily, as you can see. And I'm going to put that into some plastic wrap, and I'm going to chill it for at least 30 minutes because it's very, very soft at the moment, and I want it slightly firmer, and let it rest and relax. So I'm going to cover that with some plastic wrap, and then I'm going to flatten it into a disc, basically, and that's a decent size. It just makes it easier for rolling later. So then I'll just wrap that up, and I'll put that into the fridge and chill it. And then as it's chilling, I would preheat my oven to 180 degrees Celsius, 160 Celsius with a fan, 350 Fahrenheit, and I'll line a couple of baking trays with parchment paper. And then after it's chilled, I'll come back, we'll roll it out, cut out the biscuit shapes and bake them. Then we'll be ready to fill them once they've cooled down. I have my oven preheating now, and I've floured my work surface, and I've put my dough on the work surface and floured the top. I'm going to roll that out to a thickness of between 1/8 and 1/4 of an inch, so between 3 and 5 millimeters basically. And the pastry might crack a little bit, but it should come together as it softens. And we will re-roll the excess once we've cut out the first batch of biscuits, basically. So that's between those two measurements, as I mentioned. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a cookie cutter, and this is 50 millimeters, which is about 2 inches. You can make them whatever size you want, basically, but I'm going to make fairly small ones because they're going to be sandwiched together. And I'll put them onto a baking tray, So I've rolled out the pastry to use all of it, and I've got 38 of these 2-inch ones basically, so it'll make 19 biscuits once they're sandwiched together. So I'm going to put those into the oven, and I'm going to bake them for about 8 minutes. They should start to colour on the edge just a little bit, and after 8 minutes I'll take them out of the oven and transfer them to a wire rack to cool, and once they've cooled I'll come back and we'll fill them. So I baked the cookies for my 8 minutes, and I've taken them out and put them onto a wire rack, and I've got my caramel or Dulce De Leche in a piping bag, and I'm just going to pipe some onto one like that. Now how much you use is actually a matter of your own personal preference, but having piped that amount on, I'm going to press the biscuit together like that, and then I'm simply going to take it and roll it around the edge like that to coat it in some coconut, and then I'll put that to one side and leave it to set up a little bit. You could put them in the fridge if you wanted to, just to let them set up a little bit firmer, because the caramel tends to be quite soft. So I'll do the remainder. So I've done the alfajores, and that's what they look like, and the caramel was quite soft, so I think putting them in the fridge after you've done them on a tray will allow the caramel just to firm up a little bit, but they will always be soft and gooey when you bite into them. So I'll have a taste of one. That's very, very good. The biscuits are crisp and crunchy, but not hard. They're sort of just like a lovely shortbread, and I get the lemon flavour coming through, and then the rich sweetness of the caramel of the Dulce De Leche as well. Very good indeed. And with these ones, because I've put the coconut on, I also get that, which gives a different texture in the mouth as well as a different flavour. So that's going to be it for this recipe, and I hope you've enjoyed it, and if you have, please give me a thumbs up below and click to subscribe to my YouTube channel. In the top right hand corner of the screen there will be an eye that you can click on, and that will take you to a link for the recipe, and I'll put a link below the video as well. And I'll be back with another recipe in the very near future. So until then, happy baking.